Hi everyone, good morning. Today is 20th of Jan and I welcome you to Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, in this particular session, we'll discuss entire articles of the entire important articles of the newspaper, and also you can download explainer notes of this particular session from Telegram channel. Link for our Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, let's take overview of entire newspaper. So here we have Delhi edition of the Hindu newspaper, and first article that we have, Supreme Court refuses more time to Bilkis case convicts. Will basically, if you remember, we have seen that a couple of days back, Supreme Court has given its decision that 11 people who were recently released in the Bilkis Bano case, they have to return back. Now, these people have asked some time and that has been refused. However, no need to go in detail in this particular direction. Then further reforms led to India's success in sports, Prime Minister. Okay. Then we have the advertisements in regional section. Largely we have the political articles related to Delhi, etc. Not very much important for examination. Okay. So you can just skip it. Then we have this advertisement. Okay. And largely the regional articles are there. Then here comes editorial page. Now in editorial, first article that we have, problem with India science management. We'll take this particular article for examination. Gearing up for change. So we'll take this particular article also. Then below we have this article, a case of established law lagging behind new tech. We'll take this particular article. Then here, Rahul Gandhi need to do more than projecting himself as PM. Modi's challenger. Political article, not important for examination. Then moving on, next page. Here we have this article, ground zero report. Now actually in ground zero report, they take some issue from the ground and they basically report it. Fine. However, today's article I'm going to take as a case study for ethics GS paper number 4. Okay, so we will take it up. Then as today is Saturday, on Saturday, text and context page in Hindu is not published, which contains some good articles. So we don't have text and context. India will be among the world's top 3 economies in my next term. So it is the basically electoral speech that is being given. And out of that, you are not really required to trace everything for your examination. Then further moving on, NASA spacecraft pings Chandrayaan 3 lander on the moon. So basically guys, when one particular spacecraft will send a signal, or it is a kind of a formal handshake, fine, a formal signal will be sent by one aircraft to another, that is called as pinging. So what has happened? Chandrayaan 3 on the moon has been pinged by the NASA. Okay, that is something. Then further, judge who delivered Ram Janmabhoomi verdict gets invitation. Guys, no need to go in these particular articles for your examination. Fine. After that, guys, here we have the political articles. All such kind of a things are there. A royal welcome planned for Macron as he arrives for Republic Day. So we see that French President Emmanuel Macron has been invited for Republic Day, and he in this direction will be on 2-day visit in India for in the next week. So the plannings have been done. Okay. Now one thing that I would like to tell you guys, that when the visit will happen, then we will be going in detail in this particular article, because once President of France will come in India, we'll see that what MOUs have been signed, what agreements have been signed, what important landmark agreements have come. We'll see then. As of now, no need to go too much in detail, because more precise details will come then. Then after that, understanding the body's perception of pain, key to evolving new drugs. So recently there was a lecture that was given, that was given at annual TNQ. Fine. So there they have explained that okay, now the drugs are being discovered. Fine. As the pain management is moving forward, what new type of drugs will be needed, etc. Okay. Then further moving on, after that, here we have article, how do you plan to save the great Indian bustard? Supreme Court asks. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then further moving on, after that, on world page, Pakistan and Iran agree to de-escalate after air strikes. So guys, we have seen that recently there are tensions in West Asia that has increased. We have seen that first of all, Iran has carried attacks on Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, and then Pakistan carried attack on Iran. And now they have agreed to de-escalate the situation, which is a good thing. Sri Lanka government to persist with anti-drug operation. Okay. Then we have corporate trends here on the business page. Reliance India net quarter 3 profit, Ultratech Cement. Okay, all these things. No need to go in these particular articles. And then we have sports section. Today is Saturday. On Saturday, science page is not published. So guys, today we have very selected articles in the today's newspaper, largely because of the fact that science page, one page in editorial and text and context is missing. And also other articles largely pertain to the law and order political themes. Okay, so let's now start with the discussion of all these particular articles. First of all, guys, let's take MCQ questions answer that we have taken yesterday. So yesterday we have taken these MCQs. Okay, yesterday we have taken the MCQs. First MCQ we took is from Taiwan, because recently China Taiwan issue was in news. So first, India recognizes Taiwan as a sovereign nation. India recognizes Taiwan as a sovereign nation. This statement is wrong. India does not recognize Taiwan as a sovereign nation, because India maintains diplomatic relations with China. In this capacity, we have not recognized Taiwan. Only 11 countries in the world as of now are maintaining diplomatic relations with the Taiwan. However, from the past few years, neither we are saying that we don't recognize it, nor we are saying that we recognize it. But the last position of India was this, that India does not maintain diplomatic relation with the Taiwan. Okay, so this statement is wrong. Taiwan and China are separated by Taiwan Strait. This statement is right. Correct option is 2 only. Correct option is 2 only, B. Then moving to next question. So after this we have taken this question. The Methi community in Manipur holds a substantial population. Right. In Manipur, Methi community currently has scheduled tribe status. No, they don't have scheduled tribe status. They are demanding scheduled tribe status. Kuki and Zomi tribe is awaiting scheduled tribe status. No, they already have scheduled tribe status. So this is also wrong. So what is correct option? A, 1 only. A, 1 only. Okay. Then consider the following statement. Biodiversity hotspots are located only in a tropical region. Okay, only in tropical region. So we have seen in the past that when these absolute statements are actually given, most of the times there needs to be, see, you need to have a very specific knowledge. Okay, and often we see that when these extreme statements are there, fine, many number of times they not are correct. Okay, because even if little bit area of hotspot is outside the tropical, the statement will be wrong. And in fact, there are hotspots outside the tropical region. For example, around Mediterranean, there are the hotspots that have been there. So this is wrong. India has 4 biodiversity hotspots, that is Eastern Himalaya, Western Himalaya. Western Himalaya is not a separate hotspot. Western Ghat, Andaman Nicobar Island, and there is Indo-Burma, that is there, the 4th one. Western Ghat is a separate entity, is not there. So which of the statement given above is are correct? None of the above. None of the above. Okay, now let's take MCQ questions for today. Guys, please please answer the questions and leave your answers in comment box. So first is, consider the following statement with respect to India-UK relation. India is among the top importers. India is among the top importers of UK's defense equipment. Ajay Warrior is a joint military exercise between the two nations. UK is a permanent member of the UNSC and supports India's bid for permanent seat in UNSC. So choose the correct option. Okay, so please choose the right answer and leave in the comment box. Then next, consider the following statement with respect to the ASER. So we have seen that 2 days back, annual status of education report 2023 was released. So number 1, the survey is conducted by Ministry of Education. It is conducted by Ministry of Education, and the survey assesses student based on their 10th class performance. So which of the statement is right? On that basis, choose the correct option. Okay, leave your answer in the comment box. Then the third one, if you travel through Himalayas, you are likely to see which of the following plants naturally growing there. So this is a PYQ question. Find oak, rhododendron, sandalwood. So choose the correct option and leave your answer in the comment boxes. So this is about the MCQ questions for today. And now let's move on with the today's newspaper discussion. Okay, so guys, every class we start with the GS quotation. Now today we are going to take quotation from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So Dr. Ambedkar says that rights are not protected just by law, but by social and moral conscience of the society. Rights are not just protected by the law, by judiciary, by police. Laws will be protected by the moral conscience, moral uprightness, moral understanding, social understanding of the society. Until and unless society does not want to protect the minority, to protect the rights of the vulnerable people, enforcement agencies, judiciary, policing will have a limited role to play. Okay, so you can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4, ethics. GS paper number 4, ethics. Now, moving in this particular capacity. And guys, so we have come out with Roundup 2024, which is a dedicated current affairs batch for upcoming prelims examination, that is the prelims examination 2024. So if you are underconfident with respect to your current affairs preparation, and as you know that current affairs plays an important role, you can enroll in this particular course. Here we are going to take the entire last 12 month to 15 months of current affairs coverage in theme wise manner, where we are going to cover themes such as Indian economy, environment, ecology, social justice, polity, IR, international bodies, science and tech, art and culture, and miscellaneous. All these themes we are going to cover, and we will be doing the comprehensive coverage from Indian Express, PIB, down to earth. Okay. Also, these classes will be held live. However, if you miss the live class, you can see the recordings laterwards. And also, guys, I would like to thank you all for such a good response that you have given on this current affairs batch. And we might be closing down the admissions soon, because we are already running to our maximum capacity that we had. So the course is going to start from 31st of January, and the fees for this entire module is 2,999 inclusive of taxes. If you wish to join, you can join by visiting our website, that is www.sahilsaini.net, and you can enroll in this particular course. Okay, now moving on, and let's take first of all some of the important world mapping locations. So guys, first of all, what locations we are going to take? So recently we have seen that a lot of crises have erupted in West Asia. So there are certain cities which have been in the news. So we are going to see these important locations, because questions have been asked into the past where they asked that this particular city was in news, it is located in which country. So first of all, the latest one, what actually happened? So first of all, what happened? Pakistan carried an attack. Sorry. First of all, Iran carried an attack on Pakistan in their Balochistan province, and they carried the attack on Sabzko. Sabzko. Okay, Sabzko. So Sabzko is in Pakistan. Then what happened? Pakistan carried attack in Iran. Okay, and in Sravan in Iran, the attack was carried. In Sravan, attack was carried. Okay. Then apart from that, there are other cities also that have been in the news, other regions also that have been in the news. Why? Because of these crises that are going on in simultaneously. And in this line also, questions have been asked in the prelims examination. So let's see what places were in news and what issues are going on. First of all, guys, Syria and Iraq. Syria and Iraq. So what happened? What happened here? So what happened here? Okay, what has happened here? So Iran says this particular thing, that Mossad, which is intelligence agency of Israel, Mossad, which is intelligence agency of Israel, it has established its base in Iraq. It has established its base in Iraq, where in the Kurdistan province of Iraq. Fine, in the Kurdistan province of Iraq, that is Erbil. That is Erbil. Okay. Then Iran further, there is okay, in Syria. What actually happened? So basically, ISK, that is IS Khorasan, they have planned an attack. They have planned an attack on one of an official of Iran. Okay, so therefore in Iblis, okay, so they have carried an attack. So Iran says that they have carried attack in Syria and Iraq, and they have neutralized the Syria's IS fighters as well as the Mossad's headquarters in Iraq. Okay, then if we see Lebanon, so cross-border strikes continue between Israel and Hezbollah. Then if we see here, we have Gaza. So in Gaza, what is happening? So Israel and Hamas are fighting. Then here we have the Red Sea region. So what is happening in the Red Sea region? In Red Sea region, Yemen Houthis, they are attacking the ships. So where Houthis are stationed? Houthis are stationed in Yemen. Then we have Pakistan and Iran. So they are attacking each other. So guys, understand these particular things, that all these regions are recently in the news because of the confrontations going on. Now what I am trying to explain you, understand this particular thing, guys, that please see the north to south. north to south location of all these particular countries, because a question on such line could be asked north to south, east to west. So you can track you can track their locations. You can track their location. Okay. So guys, if we see here, here we have Syria and we have Iraq. So towards the north we have Syria and Iraq. Then after that, here we have Lebanon. Here we have Lebanon. Then here we have Gaza. Then after that, if we see, here we have Iran. Then here we have Pakistan, and then in further southernmost we have Yemen. In southernmost we have Yemen. Okay, so just I want that respective positions of these particular regions, that is which is in the northernmost is Syria and southernmost is Yemen. Okay, and then we have Iraq and Iran. We have Iraq and Iran. Then here we have Lebanon. Then we have Gaza, and then we have Pakistan. So such location you should be knowing. Then moving on guys, and let's start with the first article for the today. So here this article has come in the newspaper. How do you plan to save the great Indian bustard? Supreme Court asks government. So let's discuss this particular article. Okay. So basically guys, what has happened? Great Indian bustard has been in news, and great Indian bustard has been in news for a very long period of time. First of all, we need to understand some of the details with respect to great Indian bustard, because in prelims examination, environment and ecology, it can be asked, because species have been asked in the past. Now, first of all, when we talk about great Indian bustard, it is the state bird of Rajasthan. It is the state bird of Rajasthan, and it is called as one of the most critically endangered bird. Its population is just 150 individuals, and 95% of its population is in Rajasthan. So some of its population is in Rajasthan, some of its population is in Pakistan and in the regions of Gujarat, but 95% population is in Rajasthan, and just 150 birds have been left. Now, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about great Indian bustard, first of all, as Rajasthan shares border with Pakistan, some of the great Indian bustards, they go to Pakistan, and in Pakistan they are hunted. They are hunted by the poachers, and poachers hunt them for their meat. So because of this, their population has declined. After that, guys, understand this particular thing, that their population is also declined because of many other reasons. For example, great Indian bustard, they have a very poor frontal vision, and often they get trapped into electric wires and they get strangulated. So large number of great Indian bustard, they have died because of the strangulation in electric wires. Right now, what is happening? Rajasthan is becoming as an important destination for solar electricity, and in this capacity, in deserts where these great Indian bustard live, we are deploying solar panels, and the electricity generated will be transmitted through the electricity wires. So that wires that are being deployed, because of that, large number of great Indian bustards, they have died. Now when we talk about great Indian bustard, they are considered as a flagship grassland species, and their robust population indicates the good health of the grassland as well as the desert semi-arid ecosystem. Okay, so what has the reasons is collisions, electrocution with power transmission lines, okay, hunting that is prevalent in Pakistan, and habitat loss because of the unplanned development that has come. It has also impacted population of great Indian bustard. Now when we talk about great Indian bustard, guys, basically there are certain initiatives that have already been started for great Indian bustard. For example, Ministry of Environment, Forest Conservation and Climate Change, fine, it is running a species recovery program under integrated development of wildlife habitat. Okay, also what has happened, Rajasthan government has launched project Great Indian Bustard on the line of Project Tiger to revive their population. But still guys, nothing much has happened, and now government has asked now the Supreme Court has asked the government that what more steps you are taking. So in the past, activists have said this thing, that we should not be taking up electricity projects in Rajasthan because they get collided in that. But Supreme Court have recognized that development, electricity transmission is also very much needed. So you need to come out with some innovative measure, that how electricity development is not jeopardized, and how their population can also be conserved. So this is something that the court has asked, and it has directed the government to give, it has given the time to the government till February, that you have to come out with some kind of a plan. Okay. Now, moving on in this direction, the problem with the problem with India's science management. The problem with India's science management. Now, guys, in this particular article, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss that there have been one very important legacy issue in the science and technologies development in India. Now, first of all, guys, when we talk about the science and technology, it happens to be an important component of a nation's development as it drives out of box thinking, it drives innovativeness in a nation. Now, basically, when we talk about India, India has improved its rank on the Global Innovation Index, where we are ranking 40. But much more needs to be done to improve the science scenario in India. Okay. Now, first of all, government has come out with many institutions. For example, we are now coming out with the National Research Foundation. National Research Foundation will be a dedicated institution which will streamline funding for the science projects. As of now, guys, India just spends around 0.7% of GDP on science and technology. But developed countries, they are spending in the range of 2.5 to 3% of their GDP on science and tech. For example, we see that 3.5% of GDP is spent on science by US and 2.4 by China. India spends just 0.7%. So to further streamline the science funding, NRF is being deployed. Also, we are restructuring the DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, so that it can focus on development of state-of-art weaponry, and India can become the net exporters of weaponry. Right now, India is importing the weapons in large numbers. Fine. So to become the net exporter, we are now restructuring the DRDO. Now, also, guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about ISRO has become one of the most premier science agency in the world, but still it ranked 8th on the number of launches that were made in 2022. And we find that many countries are now making more space launches, particularly with the emergence of startups in the space sector, with the emergence of private sector in the space sector, and as they are using the reusable rocket, for example, SpaceX of Elon Musk, it uses the reusable space rockets, and because of that, they have increased the number of launches. So India ranks on 8th in number of launches in 2022. Also, guys, in critical technology such as genomics, robotics, artificial intelligence, we are not working that much more needed to be done. Now, one very important aspect with as why we are not able to scale these things. Often we say that institutions are not there, funding is not there, but this article has picked up some different dimension. It has picked up the dimension of bureaucracy. It has picked up the dimension of the inefficiency in the regulatory structures. Now, the article provides this particular thing, that when we talk about the research institutions, these research institutions are actually managed by they are actually managed by the senior scientist. Now, understand this thing. There is a belief that a good scientist is a good scientific manager also. A good scientist is a good scientific manager also. But no, that is not the true thing. See, a good actor doesn't mean will be a good manager. A good actor will be a good businessman. No, doesn't happens. Fine. A good teacher can be a good manager. No, not a guarantee. In the same way, a good scientist can be a good scientific manager. Not at all a guarantee. But we don't assume it. We think no. If you are a good scientist, you have to be a good scientific manager also. And therefore, the research institutions, they are led by the senior scientist. Okay. And often their responsibilities are different. For example, what they do, they are they are doing the micromanagement of institutions accounts. What they are doing, they are sitting on the various scientific committees. Okay, sometimes they are fighting in the litigation with some of the colleague. For example, there is some other scientist in the organization, that scientists say that my promotion has not been given deliberately. Okay, and then these senior scientists are representing the institution. So what is happening? Senior scientists, they are doing management, they are sitting on committees, they are looking the finances, they are managing the human resource, and in these things they are not able to work with efficiency. Now understand this thing, guys. In 1908, dedicated course of MBA, business administration, was brought. Why? Because it was understood that administration happens to be a separate specific wing. So even for the scientific administration, we need to have the trained and separate class of officials rather than senior scientists doing the management work. Okay, so there are certain reforms that are needed in this particular direction. Number one, administering an organization such as a national lab or a university cannot be relegated to a side project of a working scientist. So if a working scientist is there and he is doing the management, either his scientific advancements he will be doing as a side project, or management he will do the side project. That cannot happen. So what we need to have a dedicated workforce. Many number of times these scientists, they are also working as the director or a vice chancellor. Okay, but acting as a vice chancellor, director, or the manager of a university needs entirely a separate skill set. So scientists cannot be given and should not be given this particular kind of work. After that, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about scientists, scientists are not by very training geared to juggle between approximate solutions for human and financial problems. There are many technical tax related compliances that are there, financial compliances that are there, human resource compliances that are there. Fine, they are not apt to deal with that. Also, there emerges the conflict of interest when they are the ones who are acting as a director of a space science organization. Let me give you example. Now guys, suppose there is a senior scientist who is working on a project, and at the same time he himself is the director or a vice chancellor. Being a director or vice chancellor, he has a lot of power with respect to that which project will get the funding, which project will get the approval. Now he himself is a scientist. So what can happen? He get the funding approved for the project in which he is working, or he can give the he can give the timely approval to those scientists who are favorites of him. So a lot of conflict of interest also emerges here. Okay, now when we talk about scientists, there is no system of all India transfer of scientists and science administrators. So how to bring neutrality in that case? It also becomes problematic. So here we need to see the system of USA. Now what USA has done? USA has maintained the separation of science administration and scientist. Now scientists are not doing administration and administration are not doing the science. Okay. Now when we talk about the US, the labs are being embedded in the university ecosystem. Okay. Fine. Now understand this thing. Now these labs are run by scientists, and scientists, fine, when they want to do some administrative role, they basically what they do, selected scientists who want to do the administrative task, fine, they are groomed for that particular task, and very few of them then go back to the active science. So scientists, when they go to administration, then they do administration only, they don't go to science. In India, they are doing administration and science together. So this dichotomy has to be maintained, and by that, effective management of science institutions could be brought in India. Okay, so that is about this particular article. Now moving to the next article. A case of established law lagging behind the new tech. Now we'll take this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3. Technology leap forwarding the law, or law lagging behind the technology. Now this particular instance we have discussed in yesterday's newspaper also. So what happened? We have seen in yesterday's newspaper that ChatGPT, okay, has been sued by New York Times. So New York Times happens to be a important and a very famous newspaper of US, and they have sued the OpenAI and ChatGPT. OpenAI is the makers of ChatGPT. So they say this particular thing, that ChatGPT, a large language model, has been trained on the content of New York Times. And for this particular thing, neither they have taken permission from the New York Times, nor they have given some money compensation to New York Times. Okay, and for this capacity, they have filed a case. Fine, they have filed a case. Now, if this particular case is decided in the favor of New York Times, then ChatGPT, OpenAI has to give billions of dollars to the New York Times. Okay. Now, basically it has been said that actually in the past 1 year or so, there are many artificial intelligence models such as the ChatGPT, Bing Chat, which have emerged. And we find this particular thing, that New York Times, they have given the example that many of the articles which are generated by ChatGPT, they are as it is, they are verbatim copies. Verbatim copies means as it is, word to word copy of what was published into the New York Times. So it is being said that what is happening by this particular thing, their intellectual property right, their copyrights are getting violated. Also, it has been said that there is also an AI hallucination. So whenever the chat GPT is giving the wrong answer, then that wrong answer is said that we have taken from the times. We have taken from the times. Okay. So when they are taking wrong material, they give credit. But when they are taking the good material, they are not giving the credit. Also, we see this particular thing, guys, that around the world, many of the authors, artists, fine, they have sued the different AI models. Now, understand this particular thing. Makers of AI, such as the Open AI, they say this particular thing that we are working on artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, and it will serve a new transformative purpose. It is a new technology. It will serve a new transformative purpose. So therefore, the usage of New York Times content should be allowed as a fair use. Should be allowed as a fair use. So fair use is a rider. Under fair use, you can use the content without infringing the copyright. So under fair use exemption, they should be allowed. They're asking this particular permission. Also, guys, what has happened? Even Universal Music, they have urged the Spotify and Apple Music to prevent OpenAI or to prevent the other AI models to not to scrap the material from their platform. Now, tomorrow it might be seen that AI bots, they will make songs. AI bots will make songs. So why you need to give crores and crores of money to singers? Just train an AI bot, fine and free of cost, get a song made out of that bot. But for that, they need to be trained on the existing music library. And Spotify, Apple Music has the biggest music library. So they are asking them that please don't allow them to get trained on your content. So around the world, we find this particular thing that so many lawsuits are being filed on generative AI. Now, when we talk about this case happens to be very important. Why? Because whatever will happen here, it will establish a precedent to manage the AI emergence. And in India also, we don't have any law to regulate AI. So the manner in which this particular law will be settled, India might also follow that particular lead. So everybody is now watching. But guys, understand this particular thing, that it is a classical case of law lagging behind new technology. It is a classical case of law lagging behind new technology. And in this capacity, understand this thing. Either there will be the victory of big tech, or there will be the victory of big tech, or there will be the victory of the human content producers, that is the New York Times. Now, for both, it is going to play a very important role. Understand this thing. If NYT, New York Times, prevail, generative AI companies might to compensate them. Billions and billions of dollars might be given to the New York Times. What it will do? It will significantly increase the cost of generative AI model. So therefore, NYT wants that they should defeat. Moreover, understand this thing. Around the world, there is a lot of threat with the emergence of AI to many companies, to many employees. And if this happened, it might be a death. It might be a kind of a very big defeat for the entire AI model. Okay. So this is something fine. Now, so guys, this resolution could be a very significant one, and we are now going to see that how this particular case is settled. So this is, guys, all about it. And now moving to next article. Gearing up for change. Gearing up for change. So this article will see with respect to GS paper number 1 as well as GS paper number 3, geographical phenomena and issues related to the environment. Fine. Now, this particular article is talking about a recent report that was released by Council on Energy, Environment and Water, CEEW. So recently CEEW has released a report, and this report is giving the information about monsoon trends between the year 1982 to 2022. Now, when we talk about IMD was established during the time of Britishers, largely to forecast the monsoons, because Britishers were interested in revenue maximization, and for that particular thing, timely information about the emergence of monsoons will impact agriculture, and therefore Britishers were interested in that. But over the years, now IMD, it analyzes the entire spectrum of climate and weather, cyclone, fog, and all such kind of things. Fine. Also, guys, understand this particular thing. Understand this particular thing, that this particular data has analyzed the rainfall patterns on tehsil level, and according to the data it is said that rainfall is increasing in more than 55% of India's tehsils. Rainfall is increasing in more than 55% of tehsils, and rainfall is declining in 11% of the tehsils. Rainfall is declining in the 11% of tehsils. Also, the article is saying this particular thing, that wherever the rainfall has been declined, okay, in 11% they have declined. 87% of these tehsils, their rainfall has declined during the period of June and July, which is an important period of sowing. Okay, which is an important period of sowing, and declining of rainfall here might have an impact on the agricultural production of in India. Majority of these tehsils, they are in Indo-Gangetic plains, which happens to be a very important region for the agricultural production. Okay. Also, this particular study has found that 30% of India's districts, they witnessed deficient rainfall, 38% have witnessed excessive rainfall. Now, excessive and deficient rainfalls both are bad from the point of view of agriculture. Also, many times they exacerbate certain environmental disasters also. So, what India now needs to do? India now needs to ensure that we do the climate proofing of our agriculture, and in the upcoming budget we need to come out with the policies which can provide maximum social environmental coverage to the poor farmers who are getting impacted by these erratic rainfall. Okay, so as we talk about climate change, this is directly an impact of climate change. So in this capacity, guys, please do give the reference of the CEW report when it comes. Okay, now moving on, here we have this article, the babies branded with hot bangles. Branded with hot bangles. Now guys, let's understand this particular entire issue. So basically, there is, now this incident is from Umaria district. This incident is from Umaria district, and Umaria is in Madhya Pradesh. And in Umaria district of Madhya Pradesh, there is this practice of Dagna. There is the practice of Dagna. Now, what is this Dagna practice? This Dagna practice, it is based on a superstition. And superstition is this, that when a child is ill, suppose a child has fever, pneumonia, or is not consuming the breast milk, these child, rather than taking them to doctor, their bellies or their bodies are pierced with the hot iron rods, hot iron bangles. Okay, so these hot iron rods or hot iron bangles, they are pierced in their abdomen or on their other body parts. Okay, and this particular work is often done by the midwives. Okay, often done by the midwives. Now, what has happened for a very long period of time? Administration is trying to sensitize people with respect to this Dagna practice, that how it is inhumane and how it is so painful, and scientifically it is not going to be of any use. Rather, it is harmful. Okay, but people have not given it up. Now, what has happened? 4 infants between birth and 4 months, they have died across 1 month in Madhya Pradesh. 4 children have died. Okay, so this particular superstitious belief is being blamed. Now, one dimension, guys, you need to understand. For example, here you can see the photograph of a woman. So this woman is a midwife who has been booked when a child died because of the Dagna that was done, because of the hot bangle that was pierced in that child's body. Now, one dimension opens up here, guys, that see, though this particular woman would be charged under the law, and it is not a grim of doubt that she has broken the law. Okay, she has caused the grievous hurt of a child. But one more thing you need to understand, that we need to work on the roots of these particular problems, because guys, these people are operating out of their false consciousness. They are operating out of their false consciousness. Now, what is the idea? What is the meaning of the false consciousness? Understand this particular thing, guys, that many number of times we are doing certain things and we don't know that they are bad, or we don't consider them that bad. As per our understanding, that is right, and that is the way that the thing should be done. So what is happening? People are operating out of false consciousness and they are doing it. So rather than just looking for the quick fix solution, that is arresting some people and putting burden on them, this entire situation has to be reformed by educating, sensitizing the people. And in this capacity, role of NGOs, self-help groups is now needed to be taken. And guys, also understand this particular thing, that there was Operation Dastak, that was taken up in Umaria district to improve this particular condition, but more sustained efforts are now needed to be taken up in this particular capacity. So you can use this particular as a case study in your ethics GS paper number 4. You can use it as a case study in ethics GS paper number 4. Okay, so that is all guys about it, and with this we come to an end to the today's session. We don't have much articles in today, being Saturday. So that is all guys about it, and now we will be meeting on Monday. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.